Well, good evening, everyone. And tonight I'm joined by Ben Rose, Regional General Manager of Binance for New Zealand, Australia, and Pacific Islands. And that's for the business of Binance. And it is all about crypto and it's a leading blockchain. And it's just so interesting because
Hey,
you
good to be
actually
here. Thanks,
provide
Judith.
financial products. Yeah, and it provides a financial product suite that includes the largest digital asset exchange by volume. So that's actually pretty big, Ben,
Yeah, it's not too bad. We've
isn't
got
it?
150 million customers around the world, so we're on the large side.
So you're not a startup. You're actually very much scaled up. And Ben, you just told me before when we were chatting is that you've been with Binance about 20 years. So it's got some longevity with it, which is great to hear.
Well, I've been in New Zealand 20 years.
So
Binance is actually a little bit younger. So Binance started about 6 years ago, and I joined in New Zealand a year and a half ago. So I was employee number one at Binance New Zealand. So we are a startup there.
Great. Okay, so trusted by millions worldwide, the Binance platform is dedicated to increasing the freedom of money for users and features an unmatched portfolio of crypto products and offerings such as investment and incubation, decentralization infrastructure solutions. So this is very interesting, and many people want to know more about crypto, but they're sort of afraid to ask. So I'm going to ask you some of those questions tonight, Ben.
Let's do it.
So you're the general manager for Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific Islands. Can you start off with some of your background on yourself prior to your tenure with Binance, which we've now established you've been with for 6 years?
So look, I've been in New Zealand for 20 years now, and I started off in advertising and worked through into marketing and sales, and ended up working across financial services, places like ASB, NIB, health insurance, and ended up discovering the world of tech and kind of putting my skills to use there. So prior to that, it was all about growth, and so Binance was a good fit because as a business. It's only been around 6 years, and wow, it's grown in that time.
So it is the world leading blockchain and cryptocurrency infrastructure provider with a financial product suite that includes the largest digital asset exchange by volume. So firstly, broken down in simple terms, what is blockchain and what is cryptocurrency?
Okay, so look, I'll start with cryptocurrency first, which is often shortened to crypto. And crypto itself is short for cryptography, which is basically the way we secure communications. So think of how we encrypt messages between two parties so that no third party can read the message. That's why cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are referred to as peer-to-peer. So we don't need a third party to authenticate transactions. So blockchain is the technology that enables that. So it's basically a shared, distributed ledger of transactions that records the history of transactions and stores information in batches, which we call blocks. And those blocks just get linked together in a sequential way to form a continuous chain. So the reason it's groundbreaking is because it's not only secure, but it's completely publicly accessible. So anyone can access it. It's completely transparent, which means anybody can verify the records, which means that blockchain presents opportunities in things like remittances, so sending money overseas, where crypto's quite a bit faster and cheaper than traditional channels because it's peer-to-peer. But there are other use cases like in agriculture, food supply chains, and land title records. So it's a really exciting space.
Yeah. So the Binance platform suite of financial products dedicated to increasing the freedom of money for users. Now, just exactly how does that work? What does it mean?
Okay, so we're an exchange. We're a place where people can buy and trade and sell cryptocurrencies. So we started off in July 2017, and within 6 months, we've become the world's largest crypto exchange by trading volume, and we've been there ever since. So the market really decides which crypto project takes off. So we're neutral. We list a lot. We list about 350, which is the largest range out there. And really, we've given people access to broad financial tools. So we're making it accessible to everyone. Because the thing about crypto is we really think it can empower individuals with greater economic freedom. We talk about the freedom of money. So that's why we're here. That's what we do, and we look to increase the freedom of money globally.
And so the portfolio of crypto products and offerings, such as trading, finance, education, data, and research, can you speak to those? Because that's quite a large sector of what most people need to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. So globally, we have a lot of products, products and services like payments and savings and credit and insurance. So in New Zealand, at Binance New Zealand, the products we offer are in line with New Zealand regulations. So some of the products that are available in some other markets aren't accessible locally. And that's one of those things that, the guidelines are changing and evolving, so we keep an eye on those. But I think the thing we're best known for is our spot trading, which means buying, selling, holding, and trading cryptocurrencies. So that's at the core of our business. Then we've got things like Binance Research, which publishes research on the market. We've got Binance Labs, which is a venture capital arm that invests in blockchain startups. There's Binance Charity, which when we had the floods in Auckland and the Hawke's Bay, we were able to get funds to those who needed it instantly. And there are a whole lot of other parts of our business, but at the core of it is that crypto exchange.
So if people were wanting to buy or sell cryptocurrency, they would come to you. So you're a trading platform.
Yeah, that's right.
Well.
That's
Is that
right.
what you're
So
saying?
so if you have internet access or a mobile phone, then you can access Binance, and so it opens up a whole world of opportunities to you that used to be quite hard for individuals to access. That's pretty much what we're here to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So the decentralization infrastructure solutions. So, I mean, that's really blockchain. Is there something else involved there that you could explain?
Yeah, so today, so I spoke about when we started off in 2017, just as a crypto exchange. Now, we've got this blockchain ecosystem with trading services and infrastructure solutions and educational resources and social good and investment and incubation, all of that sort of thing. And I think what we find is that the biggest opportunities are often found in, new and disruptive technologies. And so Web3 or blockchain, there are lots of names for it. It's the next generation of the internet. We think that that's one of those opportunities. And really what it does at its heart is it gives power back to users and creators using the technology. So rather than a few kind of large companies like Google or Facebook owning the platforms, users own and maintain the platforms and apps with all of the information published publicly. So it's got the potential to be quite revolutionary. And we've seen uptake around the world really high in some markets, certainly in this part of the world as well. So we're preparing for the era of Web3 as we see that taking off, and our mission is to be the infrastructure to the blockchain ecosystem as it emerges.
So you talked about the markets, which would be your biggest markets at the moment?
Well, so cryptocurrency tends to have very high penetration where the local currency is quite volatile. So, for example, if you think about Southeast Asia, South America, they're pretty big markets. So there are lots of offshore offshore teams who get paid via crypto in those markets rather than the local currency because it's so volatile and inflation so high. Here in New Zealand, we've got about 1 in 10 Kiwis has some form of crypto. Hop over the ditch, and it's quite a bit higher. So with millennials, for example, in Australia, 1 in 3 has got crypto. So it's really it's definitely growing, and yeah, we're starting to catch up. I mean, we only launched in New Zealand last September, and we're already up to 300,000 registrations. So it's there's a lot of demand for it. It's a cyclical thing, and we're in a bear market right now, but it's certainly growing globally.
It just sounds a little bit, and I know this is an entirely different thing, but a little bit like a market like gold, where it depends very much what's going on in the world as well, and in people's where they live, how they might be feeling towards it. And I guess that with crypto, it's another way if people don't feel that they have trust and confidence in their monetary system, that they might worry about that. So this is another way for them to be able to decide that they can invest.
Yeah, I think that's right, and I think like all markets, it depends on people seeing value in it and seeing and trusting it, and there are some areas where the traditional financial sector hasn't worked for certain regions, types of people, those sorts of things, and so for example, we see a lot of growth in cryptocurrency with the younger demographic who have who might feel that the traditional finance sector isn't set up for them, so it's not for everyone. It is for some, but I think like all products and financial services and products and markets, the most important thing is to do your research before getting into this kind of thing, and that's why we've focused a lot on putting out educational material. We've got a thing called Binance Academy, which you could just Google and go and teach yourself about this whole world, because look, it is new and it changes every day, so it's important to get your head around it before you decide whether or not you want to dive into it.
Well, that's a good point, actually. The Binance Academy is where people need to go to learn more about what crypto is, and also how it works within the system. So what are the benefits to businesses and individuals who choose to make or certainly to invest in cryptocurrency through the whole blockchain and Web3? I mean, what is it? I mean, obviously in countries where people don't have an extremely volatile currency, it may also be where people don't have confidence in banks. But where else might it be? What are some of the benefits to businesses?
So I think there are three. I think the first one is it's faster and cheaper to send than traditional money. So, for example, remittance. So, in our part of the world, in the Pacific, people pay the highest fees in the world for remittances. Whereas, if someone wanted to send crypto to friends or family who lived over there, it would go through instantly and cost cents on the dollar. So, I think being faster and cheaper to send money is one of the first things. The second one is the transparency of it. So because blockchain's a public ledger which records every single transaction, that means that every transaction is then traceable, which isn't the case with traditional money, or fiat money as we call it. So I think that transparency is something that's also a benefit. And look, and the last thing I think is the fact that it's safe and secure as a technology. So nobody can access your funds unless they gain access to your crypto wallet's private key. But we've seen in the last 12 months, for example, in the traditional banking sector, that your money isn't always secure in banks, and so some see it as somewhat of a hedge. So yes, safety and security is another key thing.
And presumably, if money is sent through to the Pacific through crypto, for instance, that people can then sell that crypto again. Is that the point? That they would then, if they needed it, they needed cash in the local currency?
Yeah, so there's a number of ways that they could do that. They could use an exchange to do that. There are credit cards where you can spend crypto, but also there are retailers that accept crypto. So in Ukraine, for example, we've done a lot of work. We've got a payment platform called Binance Pay, and now you can go to supermarkets, gas stations, pharmacies, and spend crypto straight there. So it's something that we haven't yet seen in New Zealand. We're seeing overseas, and it's definitely coming to this part of the world.
So basically, what you've told me is that a younger demographic is more interested in this, and but do you think that New Zealanders are generally interested in financial technology?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first thing I would say is our customer base is fairly broad. We do see more younger people, but we've got people of all ages, all demographics. But New Zealand has got a really exciting blockchain scene. So we're part of Blockchain New Zealand, and there are some amazing businesses there doing incredible things, both offshore and onshore. So we are seeing uptake in New Zealand. We probably are a bit slower than some other markets, but I think because of the global nature of the whole technology, we will catch up. We're seeing that happening. As I mentioned, we only launched last September, and already, we've got 300,000 registrations. That's a lot of Kiwis within a year who hadn't had a global exchange locally, and now they have. And so there's definitely demand locally. I think we just need to focus on really nurturing those businesses that are, as I say, doing great things.
And I think it's right that having an exchange makes it a lot easier for people to access the technology, and it's certainly a lot more friendly for people. So how do you see New Zealand placed amongst other OECD countries when it comes to adoption and execution on fintech?
So we are the penetration of crypto here is relatively low, but growing quickly. So, as I said before, 1 in 10 is the rough number that we've got of Kiwis who have some form of crypto. What we see in countries where there's a bit more competition, where the banking industry is more open to crypto exchanges, we see a lot more choice and a lot more competition and a lot more growth. So, Australia is a really good example of that. So, yeah, I think we're fast followers. Should I say that?
I'm wondering too if you can see a time when this sort of platform and cryptocurrency will really, let's say, put some competition to the banking sector.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are countries now globally, Turkey's an example, where 50% of the population hold and use crypto. So absolutely it will happen, because I think, like any technology, it grows because users demand it. And the reason they demand this particular technology is because it's faster and more efficient than its predecessors. So it'll absolutely happen. And I'll do my damnedest to get it there.
And I guess in many ways it's not subject to what's happening in the local economy, is it? When I look at some of those inflation rates in places like Turkey, I can imagine why people might be thinking, I'd rather get paid in something else, thanks.
Yeah, that's right. I think it gives people access to a size of market that previously wasn't accessible to them. I think that's the exciting thing about it.
So how can people who are interested get in touch? There's hopefully a very friendly and easy to navigate website or app for the phone.
Yeah, it's really easy. So go to Binance, like on the t-shirt, binance.com. And because you're a Kiwi, you'll get sent straight to the New Zealand version. And the same goes on the App Store, Android or Apple. Look for Binance, and it's as easy as that.
And our friends in Australia and in the Pacific Islands can also access that as well.
Yeah, there's an Australian version of the app and the site, and a global one elsewhere.
Right. Is there anything else you'd like to add there, Ben?
No. Look, thanks. It's been great. I really appreciate the time to talk to you about crypto.
Well, I'm very pleased to be able to take a few minutes out from doing what I'm doing this week to be able to talk to you about it. A lot of people ask me about crypto, so I now know who I can say to them, well, there's this website, go there and talk to these people.
Perfect.
And that's great, because people do want to have platforms that they can understand, and being essentially an exchange is something that I think many people will find much easier for them to be able to navigate with. So thanks very much, Ben. That's a really interesting addition to our Tech Talks, and wish you all the best. Bye.